Grow your cleaning business, make more money, have more time. This is the Profit Cleaners Podcast with your hosts, Brandon Condry and Brandon Shane.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Profit Cleaners Podcast, the only place where you can learn from the top 1% of cleaning business owners from around the world to take it to the next level and win. And guys, today I'm Brandon Shane. I'm joined by my co-host Brandon Condry in the house. We're going to be talking all about how in the world do we clean 5 houses a day. You guys asked, and we're going to wave the magic wand, as Brandon says, and we're going to reveal what's behind the curtain and how in the heck you clean 5 houses a day. So let's do it, Brandon.
So to be clear, that's 5 houses per day per team.
Per team, not just
currently
the whole,
have 15 teams. Yeah, 15 teams on the road. So what's that? 75 customers a day if we were 100% booked. Every day we have some cancellations, and that is part of the magic wand of how we do 5 houses a day. So let's talk about that.
Because we didn't start out
foremost,
this way, right? We didn't start like doing
exactly.
This right
We didn't start out doing 5. You don't start out with a team of 3 people, one team, and you're able to do 5 houses a day unless they're all right next door to each other, because there just isn't enough time. What happened with us when we started with one team was they were driving up to 45 minutes between jobs. And so we were doing 3 houses a day, 4 on a good day. And then I think, if memory serves right, we made the transition to 5 houses a day when we were at 3 teams. Does that sound right, or am I wrong?
That sounds about right. We were definitely, getting more teams, getting more districts all over town. And I want to say we were actually like 2 or 3 houses a day sometimes in the beginning, just depending on the team and the house. But yeah, we definitely started at far less, and we were trying to figure this out. So
right.
That sounds about
so I
right,
think it was when we had 3 teams. And so that's the first step. The first step is you have to have multiple teams to be able to do this, or you have to have a very confined service area. So you send the one team to like one particular part of town, and we're only going to go there on Mondays. The reason we didn't do that in the beginning was it was really hard to contain the marketing. We tried to focus on one little zip code when we launched, but word of mouth spread. The cars are silly looking, so people saw them in traffic, and that got calls. And we needed revenue badly when we first started. So we said yes to everything, no matter where it was. Like, sure, we'll clean that, whatever. And so the problem, we couldn't contain it to an area. So that was the issue. So we said yes to everything, which resulted in a haphazard schedule where they're driving across town a bunch of times. So the first step was multiple teams so that you could create a service area for each team, a district. So they're going to go only to this area of town, and they're going to stay there all day. So they're going to bounce. Instead of driving up to 45 minutes between houses, we're talking about like 5 minutes. 5 minutes would be great. And that's step number 1. Step number 1, small confined area for each team. You can move those districts around on any given day. So like they don't have to stay in that whole neighborhood the whole time. They could be there on Mondays in a different neighborhood on Tuesdays. It's just a scheduling kind of nightmare to solve. So that's step 1. Step 2 is dialing in the schedule, massaging the schedule. So we couldn't clean 5 houses a day if all 5 houses were like 5,000 square feet. That's not going to happen. So I think our average last time we looked at it was like 2,200 square feet, maybe even smaller than that. So you can do 5 of those a day. That's like 12,000 square feet. So we have a cap in there, and it's like about 12,000 square feet is where we want the team at. Anything above that, they're getting home late. They're getting to the office late. They're not spending time with their kids. That's not how we want to treat our employees. They're not robots. We want them to be able to hang out with their family too. So the massage scheduling is, okay, let's say they have a 3,000 square foot one at the first house. Well, then is there a way by finessing the schedule that we can get 4 houses behind it that are smaller? Maybe 4 houses of 1,200 square feet, and then that'll even out instead of 4 2,200 square footers after it. So finessing it, this involves moving houses between teams sometimes, and depending on what you've told your customers about who they're going to see, they might be upset for that. So it's it's a grind. You gotta massage the schedule.
I want to point out too, part of that massaging of the schedule, we didn't even do this right away. was eliminating the variables that clog up your schedule, which is most likely like your move out cleans or your one-time cleans or your initial one, like the first time you're cleaning a house, it's going to take way longer. So that throws off the whole schedule. So that's still going to happen during the week, but we have actually moved all of those to Saturdays now, right, Brandon? So like as many as we can.
Yeah, so we do the initials.
Yeah,
we do the initials over the weekend. We try to do the move-ins over the weekend. That's a relatively recent change on our end. But you, as a small cleaning company, if you're listening, if you got the 3 teams, we're now going to try to add 5. Leave a day free for each team. So like Team 3 does move-ins and initials on Wednesdays, and Team 1 does them on Tuesdays, and Team 3 or Team 2 does them on Fridays. So you can accommodate your schedule. Move-ins and one-times are higher margin anyway because you're going to charge a lot more for those jobs because they're not repeat customers. We don't really care about those customers per se. So yeah, that part's part of it. So the other flip side of that massaging the schedule coin is that the really disruptive services we try and silo either on one team, one day, one weekend, whatever it is. So that's definitely part of it.
Yeah, and I think it's like we care about them, but we put way more emphasis on our recurring customers because the one-time clean customers, if we're late, if we don't do something exactly, it's not perfect, which is going to happen. It's far less impactful versus a recurring customer. Now their schedule's messed up. They pay every week. They pay every 2 weeks. Like that's a much bigger deal, right? So that's where our focus is, and that's why we're doing that. I also just want to point out too, if you're not quite at 3 teams yet, backing up a couple things that we did earlier on too that dramatically helped the speed and just the attention to the detail were some additional systems that we put in place, inspecting things a certain way, checklisting, all the ways we needed to look at everything, and also incentivizing the teams. So believe it or not, people, if they have an ability to earn more money and do something a little bit better or faster, they will rise to the occasion. So I think that really helped us in the beginning as well, Brandon, even though we didn't put that in immediately. I think we saw a dramatic shift when we saw that as well, right?
Yeah, to be clear, we should have put that in immediately. Like we should have had the bonus going from the get-go. So if you can incentivize your teams with a bonus for speed, the bonus is balanced out between going fast and not getting complaints. We want high quality work at speed. If you just tell them, I'll pay you if you finish 5 houses a day, cool, let's half-ass all those. And then at the end, everyone's mad and you got more money. But if your customers are pissed off, that costs you in the long run. So yeah, there's an economies of scale thing built in there. So you'll get more efficient over time. Your teams are going to get it as they practice. Like the cleaning routine is, a bit tricky. So they get that. They get more efficient. We districted. We can add on a 5th house. There's a bonus incentive for them to complete those 5 houses a day, which means you're making money and the teams are making more money because they hit their bonus. And like that's really it. But like really it's the processes and systems of the business are kind of what drive everything in the end. You want to have a go-to. You don't want to be making stuff up on the fly. Like we know the system is we're going to put the move-outs on the weekend, or we're going to put the initials in the first spot of the day so we have room to adjust the schedule after the first one of the day. So those kinds of systems, the inspection system, the bonus system, of course, the cleaning routine and all of that needs to be dialed in to be able to get to 5 houses a day. But the reason you want to do this is if you're doing 4 houses a day, each job is $200, you made $800 in revenue. There's a lot of fixed cost into just getting a cleaning team on the road. They still have to have uniforms, vacuums, cleaning chemicals, rags, a car to drive around. It had to be filled with gas. That applies whether they're doing 1 house or 10 houses a day. So if the infrastructure you've already invested in, cars, uniforms, people, payroll, rent on a building, all that stuff is all fixed, then why not try and squeeze more out of the same machine that you've already built? So 4 houses, $800 a day, 5 houses, $1,000 a day. So by getting $1,000 a day out of the team, you've diluted the fixed cost amongst more revenue. And that's the idea. And your savings are really going to be in the drive time. So if you were paying them $20 an hour, $60 an hour as a team, and you're driving an hour, or half an hour, well, you just paid $30 to bring in no revenue. But if they were driving 5 minutes, that's nothing. You spent nothing on that time in between houses, and that equaled $200. So the investment is that drive time. So you're trading drive time, which brings in no revenue, for one more house at the end of the day with very efficient routing. Like that's where the magic is.
Absolutely. And also, I think the magic is in a couple other things as well. But, systems, like you mentioned, training. We just all watched the Olympics this summer. And if you watch those people show up to those races, it's not like they just like showed up and ran like the 3 or 4 minute mile sprint. They didn't just do that. They actually showed up every day for years and years and years practicing. So that's what practice and repetition does. It makes you great. And so it's the same with your cleaning teams. When you very first start out, especially if you just have the system in your head, it's not probably a real system, right? You're just, like Brandon said, you're just making stuff up. So you need to have a duplicatable system. And then as you rinse and repeat that system and your team does that over and over and over again, day in, day out, and they keep showing up, it almost becomes like a habit, right? Like if you do anything over and over again enough times, it becomes a habit. And so with that habit and that practice and repetition, now your teams are like, I've done the same house, the same customer, the same job notes like 20 times. I've done this motion. I know exactly what I'm doing. And they just start getting into this flow, right? So that is the flow state of cleaning that you want to create with those training, and that constant training, that constant repetition, that constantly going back. This is why we have team meetings every week. Here's the things we need to get better at. Here's what you guys did really good at. Let's review that process. We got complaints on floors. Let's review how we do floors again, right? So you're constantly iterating, constantly making that process better, making sure everyone is on the same page. And then, focusing on that in the beginning, like, again, you're not going to be an Olympic cleaning team, gold medal cleaning team right out of the gates. So just be patient with yourself and your teams, knowing that. And some of these other systems we talk about are going to help you guys get the focus in the right places, right? So if your teams know, hey, we can make more money, I'm gonna try harder because I want to make more. But more importantly, this is a system we didn't even write down on the notes here on the podcast, but it's stuff in the back end. It's recognition. It's building the culture that this is going to get your team in the mindset of going the extra mile, of wanting to not only make more money, but be recognized. We do this all the time in our team meetings, and it's a huge, I think, secret sauce is calling out people and being like, hey, on the team, you guys so-and-so did great. Here's what they did great. Here's a reward, and everyone publicly recognizes them. And so there's a quote I love. It's people will work for money and they'll kill for recognition. And believe it or not, like, people definitely went faster on our teams when we paid them more money and had a bonus, but they, I think, really came together. And the glue that holds all this together is the culture, the recognition. When no one's looking, when no one's micromanaging the team, what are they going to do? If they know, hey, I'm going to get recognized for this if I go the extra mile, that's like really powerful, right? And if everyone's competing now to, yes, go faster, but do extra quality and go the extra mile and over deliver, now you have a winning recipe, like a winning culture. And that's like this healthy competition that you guys want to create on the back end, So yeah, just want to point that out as well, that our teams laughed at us when we told them we're going to do 5 houses a day. They were like, nah, in your dreams, like, right? And we were like, oh crap, like, what are we going to do if we can't do 5 houses a day? Because that's what our projections were on, right? And so,
sure,
we worked through it.
But it did work. So,
yeah,
the joke at the beginning about the magic wand, people ask us this question all the time. How do you get to 5 houses? Like, what am I doing wrong? There is no magic wand. We just told you like 10 things that impact how you do 5 houses. Company culture, scheduling, routing, training on the cleans to make sure they can hit the target times. You got to pay a bonus. Everyone has to want to go that fast. There's a team lead structure. There's a review meeting every week of all the mistakes we made last week. It's not a set it and forget it system. It needs constant attention, and you hire people to deliver that attention to the beast that is the cleaning company. So in short, yes, totally doable. We do it. Lots of our students inside of the Profit Cleaner course do 5 houses a day. That's how you get to $1 million cleaning companies, by doing 5 houses a day. But there's no easy button. This is not easy. The business of cleaning, the business of delivering a consistent service, with high quality, is also not easy. So that's why you listen to this podcast. That's why you have mentors. That's why you may have already bought the course that we offer. But there is no fast option. Like you're going to have to try hard every day, and it will get there, but it is not, like we have something in the notes here, which is like, you should be focused on getting better the first few years, not on getting rich. Like the service company is not a get rich quick scheme. It's not fulfillment by Amazon. It's not a cryptocurrency. It is try hard, focus on quality, hyper focus on quality and delivering a high quality product to your customers, and then scale that. If you're scaling mediocre cleaning, that's not going to scale well. You're going to get 2-star reviews, 3-star reviews. We want you to get 5-star reviews every time. Blow the competition out of the water, become the highest reviewed cleaning company in the state, like Sandia Green Clean is. That happens through hard work.
Yeah, and a lot of trial and error and testing and figuring it out, and hopefully learning from other people's mistakes, which a lot of the cleaning we did, we modeled other people's successes, and a lot of the marketing and sales and other stuff we took from other mentors and businesses we'd had, and we stacked that into this business. But just think about this for a second, guys. A lot of us maybe start out in this business with one cleaner. Maybe you're going to a team model, but a lot of people ask us that question too, like, why would I do a team of 3 when I have teams of 1 and solo cleaners or teams of 2? And again, we've tested all these variations, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-person teams. The 3-person team is the sweet spot. You can obviously adjust it to fit your market, but a team is, again, I said that quote earlier, maybe I can't remember which podcast it was, but if you want to go far, go together, build a team, right? If you want to go fast, go alone, be a solo cleaner, but you're only going to go so far. What's the difference? If you're in someone's house 6 hours a day with one person, how much volume can you do? Not very much. Versus if you have 2 people, now you have a little more volume. Now 3 people have even more volume. You have more touch points, more details. You're in and out in faster time. People pay for speed, by the way. I would not want someone cleaning in my house for 5 or 6 hours a day. Sometimes you got to deal with it, but I would pay more if someone could come in with more details, a better experience, and less time. And that's what we're talking about, guys, is using the same machine, more throughput, more volume, so you guys can scale and have even better results for everybody, not just your teams, because they're building culture and they're winning, but your customers are winning and you're more profitable too. So anyways, I think that's how we're doing 5 houses a day. You could probably do a little more than that. You could probably do a little bit less than that, but that's kind of where we're at. And we're just sharing how we got there, how we're doing it. And it doesn't happen overnight, guys. It takes time, and you got to build up to that momentum. So I think that's pretty much covering it. So
so there's no magic button. Momentum is the magic. I like that. So if you want to learn more about this stuff and how we do it, it's all been documented in excruciating detail, and you can learn more about that at profitcleaners.com/masterclass. That's where we provide all that info.
Yeah, and we just launched that new masterclass, guys. We did a podcast about it a couple episodes ago, but it is brand new. We talk about 5 critical categories to improve in your business, so you can double or more what you're doing in revenue and slash your work hours in half. That's what we're all about, is getting your time back, putting smart systems in place, training, empowering your teams with these systems so you can focus on your strengths and have a lot more fun running your business. And so anyways, hope you guys got a lot of value out of this today. If you guys have a moment, please take out your phones. Please take it on your computer and click review. Give us a review on iTunes, on Spotify, on wherever you're listening to us at, on YouTube. And let us know how we're changing your life, if we're inspiring you, giving you some new ideas, some new food for thought. We'd love to hear how we're changing your life. So send us a story. Reach out at hello@profitcleaners.com if you want as well. And get on a call with our team. Go watch the masterclass, like Brandon said, Profit Cleaners /masterclass. And we'll see you guys on the next show. Go scale your teams to 5 houses a day. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Keep it clean.
Keep it clean.
Thanks for joining us today. To get more info, including show notes, updates, trainings, and super cool free stuff, head over to profitcleaners.com. And remember, keep it clean.